Welcome to the channel, everyone. Johnny the Strength Coach here, qualified nutritionist, trainer, and of course strength coach. How are we all doing today? So, as we've probably seen from the title, today's topic is all about why is it that I can't seem to lose weight on my diet? Why is it that I'm always the one that seems to fail and everyone else seems to succeed? Why is it that my friend who recommended this diet to me worked for and it didn't work for me? Well, you're not alone in this one. There are thousands upon thousands, if not millions of people who struggle with this every single day. And we all feel maybe a little bit inadequate. We may feel like we have to hide the fact that it's not working for us because we don't want to be perceived as weak, or we don't want to be perceived as someone who can't succeed at something. So we hide our feelings and we just say everything's fine. And we kind of get into this rut where we'll try something new and then we'll try another diet and then we'll try another diet because we want something to succeed. And of course, the first step, without the actual steps I'm giving you, is the one you've taken today. So I just want to congratulate you and just say to you guys, well done, because your first step is seeing that you want to make a change. And seeing that you want to make a change is probably one of the biggest steps you can make, because it means you're on the right path. It means you've got on that path to succeed. Now, every success story comes with failure. And I want to tell you about diets specifically, because a lot of people have a misconception with diet and how diets work. Yes, a lot of diets have been successful for people online. You see it on Instagram, you see it on Facebook. You would see all these success stories. However, if I told you that 97% of diets actually fail and only 3% pass, you'd be a bit taken aback, right? Well, statistically speaking, you are over 95% likely to fail your diet. Not because the diet's necessarily wrong, or not because obviously it worked for someone, because a friend recommended it, this friend recommended it. Well, people don't recommend things that they don't pass. Or if it comes up in topic of conversation and you go, yeah, it didn't work for me, that diet's rubbish, but someone else will say, well, that diet did work for me, how could it not work for you? So you now get into this confirmation bias. It's where something works for you and it doesn't work for someone else, or it does work for you and it doesn't work for someone else. All of a sudden you're arguing about what does and what doesn't work. But to be honest, to be open-minded and to have choice is the best parameters. You just shouldn't restrict yourself to one specific diet. And the reason being is the fact that restrictions, from a social point of view, from a cognitive behavioral point of view, if we get given restrictions, we tend to fail quicker, or we tend to want to fail in a way because we think it's kind of rebelling a little bit. I mean, if you go back to when you were a bit younger, maybe, let's say your parents or someone says you shouldn't date that person because they're bad for you. What does it make you want to do? It makes you probably want to date them, right? And that's okay. We're all like that. When we get choice taken away from us, when restrictions come in, we all tend to want to do the very thing that we shouldn't be doing. So when I say 95 to 97% of diets fail, it's usually due to restrictions. So for all those millions of success stories you see, think about how many hundreds of millions of failures we don't see. So now when you look at Weight Watchers, Slimming World, when you look at the 5-2 diet, the vegan diet, whichever diet it is that succeeds, and so many people will disagree with this because it's worked for them. So they would spout all day good informational content about why their diet works. And yes, it's true, it works for certain individuals. We're all different, we're all built differently, and we all are different fundamentally when it comes from a social background, when it comes from food choice, when it comes from which dietary foods make us feel ill or don't. So it doesn't matter how much informational content you give us, we won't agree with you because it doesn't agree with our lifestyle or our bodies. So what I would say is be open-minded, adapt something that feels good for you, which you know you can maintain. And that is the biggest key to fat loss. So I'll go through 5 stages of a kind of where you can over time overcome barriers. And barriers and restrictions are the reasons why we tend to have an issue. So every time you go from eating too much, drinking too much, partying too much, whatever it is, we're going to be slightly overweight. That is part of our issue, but it's not an issue because we enjoy our life. We're social people. We enjoy interactions. We want to do the things we want to do. So how do we still enjoy our lifestyle, but also look the way we want to look? I mean, there is a certain amount of compromise, and we can't always look exactly how we want to look from those Insta images, because a lot of them are photoshopped, a lot of them are edited, and a lot of them are there designed to make us feel inadequate to sign up to that particular program or diet or whatever it is. So I'm going to take you through some 5 stages, and I hope you can follow this with me, because it does give you choice. I'm not restricting you or anything. I just want you to stick to certain protocols. And if you can do that, I know heart in hand that you're much more likely to succeed. You're gone from 5% around about up to 50 to 60%. I'm not saying it'll work for everyone. I'm just saying that for a majority of you, it could work really well. So I would like you to go for the first step. Step 1. It's simple. For 2 weeks, and only for 2 weeks, I would like you to cut out one item that you know is putting on weight or helping you put on weight. So I'll give you an example. If you have 3 cans of Coca-Cola a day, or 3 bottles, have 2. If you're having 4 or 5, obviously limit it back by 1. It's as simple as that. Just limit one thing off. One thing. It's not that hard to do. Most of us can do that. And for the next 2 weeks, you're cutting out one item. So if it's sweets, cut out 1 bag of sweets. If it's chocolate, cut out 1, bar of chocolate. That is stage 1, and it's as simple as that. For 2 weeks, your choice of what you want to cut out. I'm not telling you what to cut out. Personally, we all know what is good and bad for us. It's just that we like the choice to be able to eat something we enjoy at times. So step 1 complete. We'll go into step 2. Now, step 2 is just similar to step 1. Instead of getting rid of an item of food, I would like you to replace one item of food for another item of food. So what do I mean by that? So if you're having a meal and you're having southern fried chicken, how about have fresh fillet chicken, like, chicken breast? Maybe you don't like chicken breast, that's fine. Let's think about breakfast. You have Cocoa Pops for breakfast, or something very chocolatey. Replace it for Weetabix or porridge, or something that is a little bit healthier for you, granola, whatever it is. I would say when it comes to portion sizes, look at the back for the portion sizes, so you kind of know you're not eating too much, because healthy food, as good as it is, if we eat too much, it still helps us put on weight. So just take one thing and replace it with a healthier item. Now, if you fancy replacing your whole meal for a salad, that could be a bit difficult. But if that's something you want to try, that's entirely your choice. It's trial and error for the next 2 weeks. If you don't feel after a few days it's working for you, change the other item and go back to your old items. See, when it comes from a social perspective and when it comes from a habitual perspective, we often buy the same things day in and day out. And why is that? Because essentially we only know what we know. So there's so many food choices out there we don't know about. There's so many food items that we don't know about that we could be eating. But to just simply change your whole diet and to change your whole shopping cart overnight is very difficult and cannot be maintained, because that means walking around the shops for 40 more minutes to look for the right items that we don't know much about. But I'll go into that into a later stage. So step 2, after 1 month, you've cut one item out and you've replaced one item for a better item of food or drink. Could be drink. It's entirely up to you. So moving on to stage 3. Now it does get a little bit harder in stage 3, but I want you to just be honest, truthful, and be open-minded when it comes to your food. Now, this stage isn't here to judge you. It isn't here to make you feel inadequate or to make you feel like you've been naughty. For the first week, I would like you to do some calorie counting. Not reducing your calories, just calorie counting. So there's MyFitnessPal, there's my app, which obviously has 12-week programs on there, which I'll go over a little bit more about later. And when you're calorie counting, I want you to put your food, oils, fats, sugars, drinks, whatever it is that you eat, drink, or like put in your mouth, essentially, that you swallow. That could be a bad joke right there, but I won't go into that. Sorry, guys. So whatever it is you put in your mouth and you swallow, I would like you to count on the app. Now, if you're going out for food, which most of us aren't at the moment because we are, stuck inside quarantine, but if you're ordering a takeaway, just find the best average and then put that down as a calories. So all I would like you to do that 1 week is just look at how many calories you've had. That's it. And it's not there to make you feel bad if you're eating too many calories, because most of us don't know how many too many calories are. So what is too many calories? Well, we've got this thing called a BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate calculator, or basal metabolic rate. Essentially, it's your metabolism. And your metabolism has a certain maintenance point. So essentially, that calculator tells you how many calories you can have per day as an average based on your height, weight, and age, and perhaps genetics as well. That doesn't really go into genetics, but that's a slightly different story. If you can look at it from a simple perspective and just say, look, the BMR calculator said my maintenance range in order to not put on weight or to not lose weight is, if I'm a female, 1,800. If I'm a male, 2,500 or 2,300. That's the calories I need to have in order to maintain my body. When I say maintenance, maintaining good health, good performance, good athleticism. So all I want you to do is find out your calorie range, which obviously if you bought my app, I could show you what your calorie range is, or you can use the BMR calculator below. Now, yeah, again, this is an average, but it's best to stick to the averages because averages work best, and then you can slowly change it to yours over time. So what I would like you to do, once you've done it for the whole week, you can see how many calories you need to lose in order to get to your maintenance range. And that's the goal. All we're trying to do is get to your maintenance range. Now, if you're only 500 calories over your maintenance range, I would like you for the next 5 weeks to drop 100 calories off each week until you hit your maintenance range. So in the first week, have 2,400 calories. In the second week, have 2,300 calories. Third, 2,002. Fourth, 2,001. And then finally, 2,000. So now you're getting close, if not hitting your maintenance range. For the next 4 or 5 weeks, I would like you to hit your maintenance range. So if you need to do 150 calories because you're a little bit more over, then do 150 calories per week. If you need to do 300 calories per week to hit your maintenance range for the next 4 to 5 weeks, then do that. Obviously, some of us eat more calories than others. Some of those are 2,000 calories above our calorie maintenance range. Now, don't worry if you're not following this too well. I mean, I'm sure most of you are, because I know that most of you kind of get the basic understanding what your maintenance range is. But if there is kind of any issues you have, drop a comment below. If you want to private message me, you can go to my Instagram, Johnny the Strength Coach, or Facebook, Johnny the Strength Coach, if you feel like you don't want to comment below. There is also other videos up there all about diet, calorie maintenance range, and how it works. Now, these are videos maybe a little bit more scientific, but they will give you a better understanding. So for the next 5 weeks, so that's 6 weeks total with the added week on top of the calorie counting. So for the next 5 to 6 weeks, all you're going to be doing is reducing your calories. And I'm not going to tell you what calories to reduce. People will tell you till their eyes, till their mouth bleeds, what foods to eat, when to eat it, what the time is. It doesn't matter. That works for them. You have the choice. It's your choice what you want to restrict, what you want to take out ever so slightly. See, over a month, you've slightly lessened your calories through small changes. In the next month, you're making slightly bigger changes, but nothing drastic. And the type of calories you want to get rid of, 200 to 300 calories, that's up to you. So I'll give you a simple example. If you're having a burger and fries, you can take out a few fries and just take away the burger buns. That'll get rid of 200 to 300 calories quite easily. That's it. It's as simple as that. Just, you don't have to necessarily get rid of foods. You can just reduce the portion sizes, or you can eat one less snack. It's a snack of like a Mars bar is like 200 calories. That can take away the excess calories, and each week you're reducing it by a little bit. So you're gradually starting to get to maintenance range, and it's much more achievable. Now, don't worry if you falter. Don't worry if you can't hit your calories perfect every day. If you go slightly over, you can make up for it by going slightly under the next day, or simply just hit your maintenance range each time. It doesn't matter if you slip up. What matters is if you go up, it starts to wave back down, and eventually it will start to get to where you want it to be. So by the end of the 5 to 6 weeks, hopefully, I'm not saying this will work for everyone, but for most of you, or for some of you, it will come to the point where you're now hitting your calorie maintenance range. So it's been 2 months and 2 weeks. So 2 months and 2 weeks, you may have not lost a pound. And I bet you're thinking, Johnny, this is atrocious. Why is this a diet? Why am I on this diet? I'm not losing any weight. Well, stages 1 to stage 3, you've now got to the point where you're able to get into a calorie deficit. So for the next several weeks after that, we'll go into that in steps 4 and step 5. We'll go into that, and this is finally going to your calorie deficit. Now, you must hear about calorie deficit all the time, but this time you should be able to achieve it quite simply because you've built up habitual routine, you've built up adequate ways that you can gradually lose calories over time, and not lose weight, lose calories over time, so you feel comfortable. So you're now in the range you can lose weight. You're not restricting yourself that much, you're restricting yourself very little because you've built up that habitual routine that's going to last a lifetime. Hopefully this steps 1 to step 3 has helped, and the first thing I would like you to do is just start whenever you like. It's entirely up to you, but I'm hoping for those of you who watch this video, who are watching this video right now, are interested in losing weight. So what have we got to lose other than weight? I would suggest if you've tried many different diets and they've not worked out for you, then this is just another option. You have the choice, remember. It's down to you and you alone. So don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. I'll see you in the next video. It's going to be out in the next couple of days, so watch out for that video. Obviously, if you are not subscribed to me and you haven't hit the notification bell, you won't get an update for that video. So rather than keep looking out for it, I'd recommend hitting that notification bell, hitting the subscribe button, just to turn all notifications on, just so you've got that video in upcoming videos. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.